At just 18, Alejandro Garnacho is one of Manchester United's most promising young players. He's a young man with obvious talent and a strong personality who hopes to follow in the footsteps of his idol, a certain Cristiano Ronaldo. But the winger is far from unanimous in Argentina. In fact, Alejandro Garnacho has chosen his side. Between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, the 18-year-old winger said that CR7 is his absolute idol. The thing is, now that the former Real Madrid player is not training and playing with Garnacho anymore, the young player will now be spending more time with Messi in the Argentinian national team, so maybe he'll change his mind, but that's a different topic. Let's focus instead on Alejandro Garnacho. Want to know more? Keep watching because you'll be surprised by what happened in Garnacho's life choices. It all started in Madrid, the Spanish capital city where he was born as a person on July 1, 2004, and as a footballer a few years later. In 2015, it was in Getafe, in the suburbs of the Spanish capital, that he took his first step toward greatness. Steeped in talent, he then joined Atletico de Madrid very quickly. Noticed by several teams, including Real Madrid, he finally signed for Manchester United in 2020. A new start for the winger, determined to write his history within the club, where his model exploded at the highest level. Despite being born in Spain, Garnacho was naturalized and joined the Argentine selection since his mother is from the country. At the end of March 2022, the player, who worked physically and gained muscle mass while hiring a nutritionist during his 2 years in Manchester, was called up by Lionel Scaloni, who had made an expanded list of 44 players. Then he was called with the U20s, led by Javier Mascherano, and he participated in the Maurice Revelio tournament 2022. And guess what happened during that competition? Garnacho scored 4 goals and was named Revelation Player of the competition. He also won the trophy for the most beautiful goal of the tournament, thanks to the free kick scored against France. During this tournament, he affirmed that CR7 is his idol, which is difficult to digest in a country where Messi is considered a god. But it was made clear that Garnacho prefers Ronaldo because he chose to play for Manchester United, even if it meant playing for the under-18s and under-23 teams before reaching the first team. During his journey, he notably scored 7 goals and got a professional contract signed in July 2021. Enough to make Garnacho happy, who was the first delighted with the return of CR7 the same summer. He was going to be able to realize a dream by playing alongside the Lusitanian star. He had to wait until April 28, 2022 to make his first appearance with the team, then led by Ralf Rangnick. At 17 years, 9 months and 27 days, he came into play 1 minute against Chelsea in the Premier League. Then he had the right to 12 minutes of play against Crystal Palace on May 22. This season, the Argentinian hoped to be used more by Erik Ten Hag, appointed manager of Manchester United. But like his idol, his first steps under the Dutchman's orders were complicated. Arriving late for 2 meetings during the preseason tour, the 18-year-old winger was volleyed by his coach, who did not select him during a friendly. Since then, the Manchester Evening News, citing club sources, says he has had a real change in attitude and now often arrives among the first at training sessions at Carrington. Before moving on, let's highlight the physical and psychological profile of the player. 2 fundamental factors for us to understand whether or not the player can succeed at the highest level. Physically, Garnacho is a 1.8 meter tall winger with a good appearance, very fast, agile, and explosive. He shows very interesting physical characteristics, very important to succeed in football at the highest level, and which may become differentiating in the future. Psychologically, Garnacho is a young man with a good competitive attitude and confidence, which is fully reflected in his way of playing. However, he has to improve a lot in terms of decision-making, something that will also be discussed, and also in terms of game vision and creativity. He played with his idol CR7 and did a good performance against Rayo Vallecano in a friendly. However, the young man only played 1 minute against Brighton in the Premier League opening. Then sent with the under-21s of United, he followed up with 2 appearances in the Europa League. September 8 against Real Sociedad and September 15 against Sheriff Tiraspol. Despite limited playing time, he was able to console himself by playing alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. Then he had his first start in the return match against Tiraspol, which turned out to be a great experience for the player, who had shared his joy on Instagram. He had published a photo of CR7 and himself with the following message: "I don't know if it's real or if I'm dreaming. Another unforgettable moment for the footballer born in 2004 who had also celebrated his goal by imitating the new celebration of the Portuguese. He had also asked him for permission to do so and had not failed to thank him on social networks by posting the following message: 18 years and 125 days dreaming of this moment. Thank you, my idol, Cristiano. Rewarded with a new start against Aston Villa on November 6, the Argentinian played 64 minutes for the Red Devils. He then regained his place as a substitute against Aston Villa in the FA Cup and Fulham. And just before the World Cup break, as United were heading into the next month with a disappointing result in the bag against Fulham, Garnacho got his chance to make a statement in the Premier League. Coming off the bench, he donned the hero costume as he scored the winning goal in stoppage time. This time, he did not celebrate his goal by imitating CR7, but by forming a heart with his fingers. Seduced, the English press also applauded him. The Manchester Evening News, which rated him 8, wrote of him as lively and linked with Eriksen to score the winning goal. The English media then reviewed the last months of the young man who was able to play with Cristiano Ronaldo, train with Lionel Messi, win the FA Youth Cup, scoring 7 goals, making 3 assists in 6 matches, including a double in the final against Nottingham. United legend and ex-captain Gary Neville said this about him: "If you're a young player at Manchester United, you have to have arrogance. You have to have an ego." He seems to have that, and passion too. He just played a good game and shattered Fulham's hopes. Bruno Fernandes is also seduced. He was not at his best at the start of the season. During the preseason camp, he did not have the best attitude, the one he should have had. That's why he hasn't had a chance so far. He has it now because he's training better and has changed his attitude. He deserves his opportunities. Garnacho's potential is huge, and if he listens to his coaches and teammates, he'll have a bright future ahead of him. You just have to look at how United are playing at the moment. Rashford is on fire, scoring goals as a forward. The midfield is stronger than ever with the trio Casemiro, Fred, Bruno Fernandes. And on the wings, the team can count on Anthony, Sancho, Elanga, and of course, Garnacho. The Argentinian has been incredible recently in the league games and in the Europa League against Barcelona. In this particular game, the Red Devils managed to eliminate the Catalans from the competition with a 2-1 win where Alejandro Garnacho showed the world his incredible talent. So seeing all his amazing performances, other teams have been showing a lot of interest in the player because the young man has caused a sensation on the side of Old Trafford. Since Alejandro Garnacho is coming to the end of his contract in June 2024 with an optional additional year with Manchester United, the club has made his extension a priority and the Red Devils are ready to splurge for him. His talent has obviously not escaped the big European teams. Recently, Real Madrid has already positioned itself on this file in case of negotiations for an extension were to fail. But according to information from the Daily Mirror, the Merengues are far from the only ones interested in the Spanish-Argentine wonder kid. The English media said that PSG is closely monitoring the situation of Alejandro Garnacho, in the same way as Bayern Munich does operate by stealing younger prospects everywhere to blow them up in Germany. The profile of the winger corresponds in any case to what the French club is looking for, and to what Christophe Galtier wants to add to his squad in order to be a serious contender in the Champions League. But if he stays at United, scoring goals at Old Trafford and winning trophies for the club, then he has everything to become a legend there, just like his idol Cristiano Ronaldo. And he might be doing that alongside Marcus Rashford, who has played amazing after the World Cup. Check out this video next to find out why.